Hi there, welcome to Call to Cinema. My name is Aaron, and today I am talking to Kevin. He is an absolutely fantastic collector. We've been chatting for a while, and we chatted a lot about Instagram with the about Imprint. See, Imprint is becoming one of my favorite labels to collect from, and it all started with the Adventure set and went on to become really big with the Halloween pumpkin set, which I defend with my life. And so I'm going to bring Kevin in. He's got some really cool stuff. We're going to chat about Imprint and other companies as well. He's got some really cool stuff to show. And with that being said, I hope you enjoy the ride. And let's bring Kevin in. Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
I want to thank you so much for coming here today. I'm super excited about this. Happy spooky season. This is so cool.
Yep.
And are you watching any good horror movies, by the way? Gotta ask that first.
I recently just got this one in from Eureka, which is a Hong Kong title. And I've also got this one just in from Korea, which is Dark Nuns, which is a Korean boutique label. So
I'm going to get you Malcolm one of these days, and we'll all talk like
yes.
Asian.
So they're the next two on my hit list of new stuff.
I've been pretty
and then I got that one in from Vinegar Syndrome, but I haven't got around to watching it yet. The Dan O'Bannon film.
It's pretty good. I think the Resurrected.
Yeah.
Are you a subscriber for Vinegar Syndrome?
No.
Yeah.
They I'm not recently back from Japan, where I've been living for pretty much 20 years, and they don't do the subscription package to Japan.
For me, it came to the point of, and I think a couple of friends of mine too, because I spoke with Malcolm about it because he was a subscriber. Like things are doubling over a lot now because everybody's putting out like their own releases. So it becomes like to the point where you'll get a release. And it's happened recently with the Shaw scope sets coming out from Arrow Video. The fourth one has the Ollie Maniac, I'm pretty sure. And I think the Shawshank set also has that as well. And so
so 88 put it out originally, way back in the day. And most of Shawscope Volume 4 was 88 films about 4 or 5 years ago. So they're doubling up now on the licenses that 88 lost.
I'm kind of glad that I didn't pick up those 88 films at the time because I love 88 films. I'm a big fan of the Slasher Classics collection. So now, how long have you been collecting? How long has it been like your journey been so far?
Pretty much from VHS days. So I'm just over 40, so probably a good 20 years. Now, the only bad thing though is living in Asia for 20 years. It's very hard getting Western titles. So I go to like mid 2000s, and then I got 20 years of blank because a lot of Japan don't bring in foreign films. So unless it's a Marvel film or a Mission Impossible or a whatever Tarantino film, a lot of the films don't translate over there, especially if you don't live in like a Tokyo or Osaka, and I live in the outskirts. So my cinemas were all local Japanese or Korean or Chinese. So I kind of had like a 20-year blank off.
You got a lot of catching up.
I do.
Which is incredible. I'm kind of jealous of that. I wish I did. I got to catch up on the Asian cinema because I'm not as proficient with that. That's probably my weakest area when it comes to cinema.
It's just awful weird when somebody turns around to you and goes, "Have you seen like Armageddon, for example, the Bruce Willis film?" And I'm like, "What's Armageddon?" And they just look at you like you've about 9 faces on you just because it's a. And also they laugh at me because I didn't know there was more than 3 Die Hard films because the last 2 didn't make it.
That may not be a bad thing.
No. I've seen the fourth one and it was dreadful. So and the fifth one I think is Chernobyl, if I remember right from the trailer, and it put me off.
It's not good. I mean, like there's some stuff out there where I'm like, I wish I hadn't seen this. Now there's certain things that I've got friends that are massive fans of like certain franchises, and they reach a certain time, they're like, "Oh, this movie doesn't exist for me," because they just don't like it. So you're back now for a bit with your family, and how are you finding it? How are you finding it? Like the change from being over from Japan to Ireland again?
Um, the houses are so much bigger. There's radiators. There's proper doors as opposed to sliding doors that you would have got in a lot of Japanese houses. My parents still shout at me for taking my shoes off every time I go into a house. 20 years of punishment.
That is, I see. I would love to go to Japan. I
Yeah,
have a friend. Pretty sure that he's like a teacher over in
yeah,
Japan. And he's kind of like you in that he travels to Canada I think once every year or two because he's
yeah.
Canadian, and so he has his like movies sent to his Canadian residence. So when he goes home, he's got like this stack of movies that he has to watch.
Yeah.
Um, but with that being said, so when you started like doing your collecting, you've been collecting for a while. What companies now are your biggest focus when you're looking at stuff? Is potpourri or
If
the
well, if it's for like Western, would be Shout Factory, um, would be 88, would be Eureka, 101 every now and again. Arrow would be a big one. Um, and then I mentioned to you last night in your stream that they're putting out Dark Star on 4K. I'm a massive Carpenter fan. I know it's not the best film in the whole wide world, but to me, it's another one less of Carpenter films to get. And there's a very small UK company over here called Fabulous Films that have had the rights to that since the DVD days. They would be more known for putting out like the Knight Rider TV shows and the Quantum Leaps. So the films they get tend to be the ones that everybody else kind of goes, oh, I don't like the look of them. But they're putting out a big, nice, fancy 4K box for Dark Star, and I was just like, I have to have that. Just it's more the OCD of I want to just I would love to have all the Carpenter films. We're getting that and In the Mouth of Madness this month as well. So from Arrow. So
That's gonna be exciting. I mean, like I love Carpenter. My dad actually got me. Did you get the book? With the photographer who done like behind the scenes photos of all the early Carpenter films.
I haven't got the book, but I've met him a couple of times. I've been to his concerts. I don't know if his concerts have made it to Morocco, but he tours with his son doing the themes from his films.
Sadly, not quite yet. I wish. The closest I get is a Marrakesh Film Festival.
Right.
You can hear the cat in the background. She's like kind of meowing right now.
Yeah.
So when did you start with Imprint?
Imprint would have been now one of the good things with Australia is they have the same region code as the UK. So where most people like Japan would have region A, which would be the same as Canada and the US. Most of Asia is region A. Australia was region B. So a lot of the titles I would have got would have been ones that weren't released in the UK, but they'd get a Blu-ray in Australia. And before I had multi-region players, Australia was a godsend. Now, Imprint wasn't around at that point, so it would have been companies like Mad Men Entertainment who are still going. Um, Amazon have now sort of tried to dip their toes into Australia and they've killed a lot of the local distributors.
Yeah,
Um, there used to be a company called Beat the Bomb. That was just the name of the site, but they offered free worldwide shipping. So you could order as much as you want. There was no cost. Now it would have took about 2 weeks or so to get to you, but it was free shipping. It was great. Now it's the shipping's getting a bit ridiculous, but uh, thankfully most of my stuff don't come from the US because it's the US that kills us for shipping over here because they add VAT and it it's something that looks cheap to begin with. Can quite
that's,
quickly
it definitely
spiral.
has. There's luckily it's a few places I've had to buy from like from Paris
Yeah,
because it's just it can be expensive, but it can be cheaper in the long run when
yeah.
you add up shipping costs of it. And when I go to order from Australia, if I order from like Imprint, like I know it's got to be a $400 order. I can't do anything under that because that's their shipping, like free shipping
Well,
threshold.
like I know when I ordered the Halloween set, a lot of people thought it was 400 American dollars to begin with, which was nuts. But that basically halved for me. So I ended up paying about £230 sterling. Now the stupid thing with that is I don't know if you've seen the Karate Kid set that Amazon America released. It was like 6 discs of the films, Blu-ray and thing. That cost me more than the Halloween set.
That's the thing. People don't realize, they don't realize the exchange for
Yeah,
Australia is actually pretty good for us.
yeah,
Even I'm in Canada and it's still really good for me. Well, I'm not
yeah,
in Canada. But as Canadian, like that was, they had a pretty good exchange rate. Now, even better for you guys.
yeah,
Um, I my first imprint, like from Imprint,
yeah,
like was the Halloween set.
yeah,
Um, because I decided I was going to imprint for Christmas, and that set got announced, and I was
yeah,
like, I have to have this.
yeah,
This this has come like the Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2. You got that pre-ordered, I'm guessing, and I'm sure you do. And
yeah.
that's when I need to pre-order yet too, because that one is really really nice.
Yeah.
They've had put out a lot of that type of stuff recently. There's been a bit of pushback on the fact that they're putting out these collector's edition sets, these bigger, like slightly more expensive sets. I've got my thoughts on it, but I'd like to hear like yours when it comes to the collector's editions.
It it really comes back down to the title for me more than anything. Halloween was always going to be a day one. I have more versions of that than that is needed. The other thing as well, in the UK, we have only ever had Halloween 1, 4, and 5 and H2O on Blu-ray. We have never had Halloween 2 on Blu-ray. We have never had Halloween 3 on Blu-ray. We haven't had Resurrection, which is not a bad thing, but that's never had a Blu-ray. And we have never had Rob Zombies 1 and 2 on Blu-ray. We've had DVDs, but not Blu-ray. So to me, having them all in one set was amazing. Though ordering 1 to 5 from Screen Factory cost me more than what this Halloween set's going to cost me as well.
It's pricey. People don't realize how pricey it is for us. Like, uh, people wondered why it was only 1 to 5, and obviously the reasons, it's because of rights issues.
Well,
Um,
what 1 to 5 is owned outright by the Akkad family, and
yeah.
6 is where Miramax get involved, and then Rob Zombies also has Lionsgate from memory.
Oh yeah.
So so it gets even more complicated. And then where I am as well, because of Brexit, a lot of places don't ship to me anymore. So American Amazon US don't ship here anymore. Grindhouse won't ship here anymore. DDD House out of Hong Kong won't ship here anymore.
Uh,
And so you end up having to go around more unique ways to try and get things. Diabolic is probably the best one for me. Orbit charge a fortune to ship to where I am in Ireland now. So Diabolic have recently done FedEx, which cuts the cost down because UPS or USPS shipping is
Insane.
frightening. It's like I could get another 3 or 4 Blu-rays for what they would charge me for shipping um certain things. And I even tried to I was looking at them like the Never Ending Story set, which I'll show you later. Diabolic won't even ship that worldwide. They will only ship that within US and Canada. So if I tried to add that to my basket when they still had it wouldn't let me buy
It sucks. I
it.
mean, it's getting it's good in that there's so much out there right now, but it's hard in that it's becoming harder to get. You think things become more globalized, but
Yeah.
it's starting to become more shut
Well,
off.
the that Night of the Living Dead set, for some reason in the US, the Savini one seems to be an absolute nightmare to get. Where over here, there just seems to be an abundance of them.
That happened when I went to Spain a couple times. Well, they are big on the steelbooks. I know that there's a gray market of stuff in Spain, but like
Yeah,
with legitimate releases,
yeah,
that you'd be able to find them easier over there. I know that the Nightmare on Elm Street steelbook set sold out really quickly in the US and in Canada.
yeah,
Now, in Spain, it hasn't come out yet,
yeah.
but it's going to have like what they're getting before anything else, before the standard edition. They're bringing out the steelbook set. So if I'm there at the time, it's priced
Yeah,
right.
I think that the standard and steelbook both come out in UK Ireland on the same day, so it's the 27th. But all the sites here still like Zavi will let you pre-order it, but I pre-ordered for my kids the Tron 4K and Tron Legacy, which isn't technically released until Monday week. But I got an email from Zavi saying they may not be able to fulfill the stock. So they're starting. Zavi's getting really bad for still allowing you to pre-order things, even though they haven't guaranteed the allotment. But it's only Tron and Tron Legacy, so I'll get them somewhere. But the kids
For,
are looking forward to seeing Legacy. They've never seen Legacy.
Oh, it's cool. I mean, I saw that's one way. I'm a big Tron person. I saw the original
Yeah,
Tron at the theater. I'm
yeah,
older,
yeah,
so I got Daft Punk did the music for
yeah,
Legacy. We're huge Daft Punk fans, so me and my better half went to see. So they're in for a treat. It's a fun film.
yeah. They just want to see both of them before the new one comes out.
Oh
Or
yeah,
yeah,
which I'm hoping is going to be good. Jared Leto, right? Is in that one.
yes, yeah. And Jeff Bridges is coming back, but I would say it's in a very small. He doesn't seem to be the. I think it's going to be another Legacy where he just pops in and he's there for a bit and then pops out and pops back again. So
CGI Jeff Bridges. So we'll get that. It's just kind of cool. It's Tron, so you can do the CGI.
yeah,
It can be a little uncanny valley there.
yeah,
I'm super stoked on that because I watch horror movies. I'm not sure how your better half is. Maybe she likes horror films, stuff like that. My better half liked horror films, sort of, for the first while we were dating. But I would go home and she would be terrified. She wouldn't sleep. So after we moved in together, she said, I got to be honest with you. I was trying to impress you. I really don't like these horror films. I had so many sleepless nights. So now we watch her types of films together, and I watch the creepy stuff.
yeah. I
Unless it's
think
like,
I think it just depends on the film. Like we would be very similar in that we would more go for the nightmares and the Halloween type of films. She doesn't really like the torture films. So I
yeah,
like Saw. She does not like Saw, but she does like the other James Wan films. So she likes The Conjuring and she'll watch Insidious and so on and so forth. But she hates Saw. She's also not a big fan of like the Paranormal Activity, so the sort of shaky cam, because she just thinks it's cheap and tacky. And but I try to explain to her it's meant to be cheap and tacky. They're doing that on purpose, but that just doesn't sink.
so no Hell LLC then, I guess.
No, no,
No, my better half, she likes the old school stuff like the Universal,
yeah,
the Hammers.
yeah.
But some of the franchise stuff she watched.
I actually got my dispatch for the big Curse of Frankenstein thing, so that should be here next week.
Oh, I got to check mine. I probably got mine as well. We ordered ours on the same day. Did you get any bonus? Do you know, or did it say on it?
I don't know, because they when you go to their site, it still has like the first 100 people will get such and such.
Yeah.
The for the Quatermass 2, I got a patch, but I can't remember where it was in the list of things. But I got like a patch thing that you would stitch onto an old jacket that you would have done in the 80s. Don't know if you
Nice.
do that now.
Oh, that is cool. I mean, like I'm hoping. I don't want the quad poster like as much as a lot of people do. I want the picture. I want the
Yeah.
autograph.
They literally don't say, the site literally just says, the first 100 will get this, the next 200 will get. So
And then the ticket replica.
but
So like,
it's a surprise. The only thing is it's being delivered by a courier company that aren't the best at they tend to leave. They leave stuff that they're not the type of person. So if you have a bin, you could have it in your bin. If you have a bush, you might find it under your bush or on top of the bush in your garden. So
yes.
they're not the best known. But thankfully, I work from home, so most days I can get them before they get them. But they're not the most reliable for for doing the deliveries. But I've been so far so good with all the hammers. For some reason, they use the same courier, so it's not the local post. So.
What do you think the next one's going to be? I know we got like Men of Sherwood for the smaller one. Did you notice then that it said Volume 1 for that Frankenstein set for the book?
I've heard rumors that the Mummy's coming, which I'm assuming will be a big deluxe set. But there's no more. When they originally announced this, it was like going to be like a one-off just for this year to see how it went. All the big boxes for this year have now been announced, but they have said that there's going to be more next year. So, but I've heard of the Mummy coming.
I'd say with Warner, with that Warner deal opened, like that door's open with Warner, Curse of Frankenstein, that we can expect more Frankenstein, but only certain ones. Like Warner put out Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed as well.
Yeah.
So I'd expect that to be one of them. And probably Dracula, or Horror Dracula in North America would be big release. Probably something that they'd probably push towards next Halloween, somewhere like around there.
I suppose it just depends because Vinegar Syndrome's just done their first Hammer, and Imprint have also done their first 4K of Hammer. So, um, they have done Twins of Evil. The UK is getting the Blu-ray, and it's not being done by Hammer, but there is a Blu-ray for Twins of Evil coming in the UK by a very low-budget company called Signature Entertainment, which means it's going to be bare bones, and it'll probably be upscale, and you'll want to avoid it like the plague. Where
I got
the Imprint one seems to be done properly, so I've got the Imprint one coming. So
in particular, right?
yeah, so it will come in something similar to this. So this is the Yang Lee set from their Asian. So all of their like collector's editions will have this that comes off. This one was 3 discs, so it'll be 3 discs. For the Hammer one, it'll be 1 disc, and then a big chunky book will be there instead of the other discs. And then for this, they just done a wee booklet, which was just inside that one.
Oh, nice.
And that will be the same for like Jade. So I've ordered Jade. The Jade release that you're interested in
Oh yeah.
will come in something similar to this, as will GIG and a lot of their other sort of chunky ones. So their box designs are all the same, so that if you are putting them on your shelves, they're all uniform, except you're not going to put an Asian collection beside GIG in.
I love the fact that they put I always put like a quote on their boxes.
Yeah.
And the way that you can actually take the kind of that square piece and put it inside, fits inside without any. That's cool. I got the uninvited unseen one, and it was cool to see that, because in North America, if you get like a disc set like that, it's like 2 films. With regular disc, and I have like just that thing on the inside. I have like 2 movies inside one small case, but they go to the extra mile when it comes to the presentation of this stuff.
Yeah.
I personally like the fact that they're putting out these films, and obviously there's other editions of, you don't have to buy the 150 whatever $200 edition. But the thing is, the way I see it is, if you like a film enough, it's a film that you really enjoy, go for it. Like, it's something that you like. I love Winona. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And Arrow put out this big edition of it that was a book that had a movie and how to get ahead in advertising with it. So my better half knew it was one of my favorites. She grabbed it from me right away. And on the Imprint they're putting it with one eye right now, actually, too, which I don't need to re-get because I've already got it.
Yeah.
But if that would have been in a big Kill Bill Doom type of set, I would have had to buy it, because it's one of my films, right? You want to have the films that represent you the best possible way that you can have them. And for some people, like the Blu-ray or the DVD or the VHS, that's their ceiling. That's where they want to go. For me, if it's a film that I really like, and I think you're kind of like me too, it's something that like you really connect with. You were like, okay, this is the one I want to highlight. This I want to show the pumpkin set, because this is, I love Halloween. These are the films that I grew up with. The literal last Halloween one that came out in that set was 1989. It was the year I graduated from high school, because I'm ancient. And those were the films I grew up watching in high school and college, because the last one came out the year that I went to college. And me and my friends would get together and we'd rent them and have like marathons. So those particular 5 are massively like important to my youth. And when I think about them, like I love the other Halloween films, but 6 came out almost, I didn't even know it was coming out. It showed up in my local video store one day. And the other ones I saw like in theater, when I was older. But the first ones, they're literally like, it's Aaron's era. Halloween. It's my youth.
Yeah, I have the funnier story, and I didn't realize Halloween existed because it never got released here.
Oh wow! So how old were you when you saw the Halloween for the first time?
I seen Halloween 1 very early, because we did have one station here called Channel 4, which still goes, and they would put on films at like 2 o'clock in the morning on like a Saturday. And that's where you would have got all your horror films, all your Italian horror films. Everything would have been there, and that's where you would have got your adult films as well. So your Naked Werewolf Woman from France or whatever it was, would have been on there, and then in between that you would have got like the Hills of Eyes. So would have been back then sort of so probably about 7 or 8 when I first seen Halloween.
That's
My worst one was 1 year for Halloween I decided to do Pinhead for Halloween, and my mum got cotton buds and stuck them into my face, and then didn't realize that when we took them off it looked like I had chicken pox because
oh,
of the glue. So getting into school the next day was enlightening because I was just walked around with spots.
that's a good mom though. She's in it for you.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think it must have been like syrup or something. I can't even remember what she used, but I'm assuming it was like a syrupy thing to stick them on, and then
it'll take
in,
to like to
yeah,
get it out.
yeah, yeah. It was worth it though.
Oh yeah.
It was worth
Doug Bradley would approve. I'm sure.
it. Yeah.
But with the releases out right now, so you've ordered. I know that you recently got. What's the last one that you picked? Last release that you got?
In from Imprint or just in general?
Well, in both. We'll both. In general first, and then we'll say in front.
So in general was the ones I showed you there. So that was this one in from Korea from Plain Archive, which is a boutique label out of Korea,
I
and
love it.
then The Island, which was I haven't actually seen this before, so it's a Hong Kong horror film. So it was a blind buy, but they haven't put out a bad one yet. So
I picked it up in a second with that cover. Like I'm a
yeah,
sucker.
yeah, it kind of reminded me a wee bit of the Piranha cover
Yeah.
that the UK got. The last Imprint one I got in was the Keep, the big Keep box thing.
That is a gorgeous set, which we'll look at after.
Yes.
If you got them there, because people don't realize how big they are. Like I'll go on Reddit sometimes, and sometimes I regret going on Reddit because people will go on like, "Oh, I can't believe this costs this much," and then you see people showing the set, and you're like, "Oh yeah, I can believe it costs that much." Like
Yeah, I'm actually dreading trying to fit the posters that big. I don't think I'll be able to fit it in like the screen because it's like the proper poster you would see in the cinema saying,
oh, like it's that big.
it's that big. Yeah.
Okay, so that's okay. We'll just see what we can of the set. So how many of the big editions have you gotten at this point?
So I've got Never Ending Story and Keep and Dune. They're the 3 that's been released so far. I've got Life Force on pre-order,
That's
and I've got Silent Night, Deadly Night in pre-order, and I will get Kill Bill at some point. But Vinegar Syndrome blowed up my balance for a while, so I will get Kill Bill at some point. This was not a good month for me because Shout done a big box set for Shaw's, and then Arrow done Shaw Scope. So my salary went kaput on Arrow, but pretty much. So
how to do it. Arrow's got some good stuff, though, man. They were one of my favorites.
yeah, I've got the Return of the Living Dead shipped as well, so that should be here this week.
I wonder if they'll. When I bought, well, when I was with my better half, like back in Newfoundland, so I think her first or second year together, and I came home from work, and she's like, "Be waiting for the mailman," and I had like no idea what it was going to be, but she got me a Halloween present. So comes this package. It's got a little box, and I open it up, and it's like Second Sight's Return of the Living Dead steelbook,
Yeah.
which is so cool. And it has the actual like soundtrack, and it's the only release that I know, like from Blu-ray at least, that has the original soundtrack. Because like the Shout Factory edition, they had to change a couple songs.
Yeah.
Other editions. So I wonder if like Arrow can get the full soundtrack again, or if they're gonna have to change those 1 or 2 songs that were. And it should be.
They haven't said. So when you read down the description on their site, it doesn't mention anything about music being erased or changed or anything. So I won't know until I see it. I have the standard Second Sight release of Return of the Living Dead. I missed the limited one.
Luckily, it's still the same print, so you actually do. You will be able to tell if you have the right. You have the right soundtrack. The other soundtrack's actually pretty good, but it's just it's too no. I'm excited to see how that goes. I love the cover for the new Return of the Living Dead release.
Yeah, it looks really good. It's the first time we have had it in 4K as well. The Scream Factory one was on. It's sitting in a basket of stuff that, like a wish list of stuff that I've always meant to get and just never got around to getting it. So this is going to save me a fortune on one less thing to have to import. So
Because I was going to get Scream Factory. So, yeah, that's right. Because you were gone away when Scream Factory kind of like blew up, right? That's how I got back in. Like I collected from CED days, if you remember CED discs. But I moved around a lot when I was younger. So every time I'd move, I'd sell off my collection and start over again.
yeah,
Uh, so then,
I did that. I did that with my DVDs. Most of my DVDs were sold when I went to Korea for the first time. So
it's
I basically split 6 months of the year in Korea, 6 months of the year in Japan,
that's got to be fun.
until I came back. But I'll only be here for 2 or 3 years. It was actually COVID that made us come back, because I would have come back to see my parents maybe once or twice a year, and then Asia shut down during COVID. So basically, if you left, you're not getting back.
Yeah.
So so I thought, right, my both parents are in their mid to late 80s, 90s, sorry. So it was like, we'll go back, spend a couple of years there. It doesn't matter where I work. So the only thing is, when we were discussing, I think it was 2 o'clock in the morning your stream went to last night. I was actually working in between, because I have to do a training course in Korea from the house at some point this week. So most of my activity is like 2 or 3 in the morning. So
Because of time difference,
time
stuff like that.
difference, yeah.
That's the only killer part. I worked at a few like call centers and like corporate centers,
Yeah.
and that would happen to me. It's like everybody else would be gone. I was in corporate. I would have to be there till like 2 or 3 in the morning, and there'd be like maybe 1 or 2 people like there in offices, and everybody. It was like almost totally dark. Aside from that, luckily nowadays you can work from home more. This is a thing, but back then, unfortunately, it wasn't so much. It was frowned upon if you had to work from home.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's good, which is a good thing. Actually, I prefer it. I get to work from home is fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into some of your releases. Let's see some of the cool stuff that you got. Well,
What do you want to start with? So I've got I've Dune, of the Keep, of the Never Ending Story, and of the Evil Dead.
I'll tell you what. Let's start with like size. We'll go from like smallest to biggest.
Okay, so smallest is going to be the Evil Dead set, pre-imprint days, but it's a Vision release.
That is
So
such. That's what the.
Necronomicon and the Dagger, which I'm blanking on at the minute for names. So
How many years have you had this one? That looks like mint.
so this has 1, 2, Army of Darkness, and the 2013. So the first remake, or I don't know if it was a remake or.
Oh, trying to see if I can get it like bigger for you to show people. No, that's not it. That's not going to work.
So I don't know. I think it was 2013 was the first like remake / sequel / whatever you call it. So but
That's
yeah,
gotta work.
from about 2014, I think it was. It came. So
So
I don't actually keep the discs in this, because I try to keep the book as nice as I can. So when you open it up, it gives you illustrations of
That is cool.
so just different illustrations on each page of the Necronomicon. So it's just like different artwork on each of them, and then they cased the discs then just in these. But I try to keep this as undamaged as I can, so I took the discs out, just put it into a blank Blu-ray case, and then this goes into storage so that it doesn't get damaged. So I probably haven't taken this out of the box in about 10 years.
Okay, let's hope it doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
But no, that's
So
a gorgeous release. Vivision did like Vivision or Vivision. I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing it right.
I would say Via Vision, but I've heard all sorts of variations of stuff over the years. But I'm the last person you should be asking about how you language things, because the Irish like to modify things all over the place. So this was then the other thing they gave you, which was, I can't even remember what film it was in, but it's the like dagger.
Part two or part three?
I haven't actually watched those films in so long. I can't remember. I just remember the scene from Army of Darkness where he split himself into all the wee mini ices, and they started poking him and fighting him and jumping into it. That's literally the only thing that comes to my head at the minute with those films. So, but yeah, that's probably around 2013, 2014. I think it was 2013 the film came out, so I would assume this would have come out in 2014. But I'm not too sure what the first year Imprint became its own like side section to ViaVision, so or ViaVisions.
Because it started out as like as just as ViaVision, and then Imprint came like later on as their kind of more prestige label.
The other thing I was going to say when you were saying about like the chunky boxes were with Neil and I've noticed that when it comes to their big releases, it tends to be more sci-fi horror. It's never like the sort of, they haven't done one for what you would call a drama or that type of film. It's always been like sci-fi horror. I think the closest we've not got to that is Kill Bill, but they haven't really stretched into the big, massive, chunky boxes for non sci-fi horror so far. So
I think right now it's like the collector motive for that type of stuff motif is that's where it kind of leans towards for stuff like that. I think Life Force was is a cool release. There was a bit of a chance for them, like a bit of a like more of a risk, because it is more of a fringe one. I love Life Force actually. I think it's fantastic. But I also was young. I love Mathilda May. So.
Yeah, that's one of those films. So when Scream Factory put it out, they said they couldn't do a 4K off the director's cut because it was impossible to do. And then Arrow came along and went, "Nope, sorry, we're doing it." And now Imprint came along and also done it. It was the same with one of their Chucky releases. I can't remember what one it was. It was either Seed or Curse of Chucky. Scream Factory done a 4K of the theatrical, not the extended or gory cut or whatever it was. And then when Arrow done their set, they were like, "Nope, we can do this," and they done the 4K of the extreme cut. I don't know what they call it. I can't remember the name they had for them, but I've noticed that a couple of times. Scream Factory where they do the theatrical in 4K, even though there's a more gorier cut or director's cut out there, which makes no sense to me. But
and it's the cool part about that, right? Is so like when Scream Factory started, their acquisitions officer was Cliff. So he did a lot of the stuff that
he's now with Arrow.
Yeah. So all things that he wasn't allowed to do with Scream Factory. It's the first thing he started with Arrow, the Texas Chainsaw stuff, the bigger Friday 13th sets. He went on that right away. Like that was definitely screw you to Arrow to Scream Factory.
I've also noticed with the Hong Kong titles that they put out. So Scream Factory done City of Fire a couple of months ago. When Arrow announced theirs, they basically put more bonus material on it than what's actually on the Shout Factory. So automatically they've went and got more archival interviews, and so they're actually making that set more well, for my taste, because I love those films, so I'm going to go with the one that's got the most bonus material. And then Imprint have the rights in Australia, and they have turned around the Arrow and Shout and went, "No, we're doing steelbooks." So all of the Imprint ones are going to be steelbooks. And then there's a company in Italy called Legends Collection. I'm not too sure if you're aware of them. They're going to be releasing them in Italy, and they've got Mike Leader, who's on the like Eurekas and 88s and Arrows and Kino releases and all, and he's going to be doing Pacific extras just for the Italian releases. So So it's really going to be a case of I'm going to have to try and work out what one I want. I've went with Arrow at the minute because they're doing the artwork is a lot better. The artwork for the Shout Factory ones are like the hard boiled green thing,
Yeah.
confuses me. The color's not too bad with red, but that green thing for hard boiled, I can't get my head around. So
Some chef factories like artwork recently. I'm gonna talk about the Halloween staples for a second.
yeah,
Kind of left me scratching my head because I'm like, I kind of get what they're going with these Halloween steelbooks, but
I didn't mind part three, but the one and two was
there were
um,
choices that were made.
yeah, and even in their last load of releases, they done a steelbook for Tales from the Dark Side, and
Not good. I saw that.
it's. I just remember looking at it and thinking, going, I can't pick one thing out of that that would make me think that's Tales from the Dark Side, and
I know.
especially and the original cover for that is so iconic. I was like, why are they? And to me,
And
it was more off-putting. I didn't even actually click into it to see if there was anything new on it. I was stumped looking at the cover, going, "That's going to cost me X amount." No, I'm not importing that. It's just,
it's insane. And it's at a time when like companies like Warner and Paramount are upping their game.
yeah,
And with their steelbooks recently, like Clueless came out from
yeah,
Paramount, it's gorgeous. The Dirty Harry, like one from
yeah,
Warner's, is absolutely stunning.
yeah.
Um,
I also don't know if there's an issue with Shout at the minute because they tend the Screen Factory used to be like their poster child in that every month you would have loads of Screen Factory titles and then you might have had one or two Shout. It now seems to have went the other way where all their horror films seem to be steelbook re-releases. Now we got Rabbit this month, which was random, but outside of that, they've been doing Oliver Stone films the last couple of months. Now I'm glad because nobody's doing the Oliver Stone films, but they done World Trade Center, Salvador. They're doing Snowden and Savages. And they've done Alexander, so they're the only company that's kind of doing like the Oliver Stone films in 4K, which is a big thing for me because he's one of my favorite directors. But they seem to be more prioritizing the Shout Factory side of things now, and Screen Factory's kind of went into the background. So it's kind of, to me, went full circle
I
with
kind of
that.
wonder if Imprint will do the other side. Screen Imprint. Uh, I could see like a JFK and
Yeah,
like Natural Born Killers stuff coming out from Imprint. If Imprint ever does Natural Born Killers, that deserves a Kill Bill type
yeah.
of big release.
Yeah, I can't actually remember who puts it out because that's one of the things with the G.I. Jane release. That's Disney in America, and everybody was going buck daft because they thought Disney are going to license these films out to third party companies. And I was watching these videos of people going, "Oh, we're going to be getting this release from Australia, and we're going to be getting that release from Australia." Um, Disney didn't put it out anywhere else in the world bar America. So the reason Imprint got it is Largo Entertainment done it internationally. They have the rights from Largo Entertainment. It's not a Disney title,
Ah,
and if people actually read up on it, Disney don't release in Australia anymore. They pulled out of the Australian market, so you don't get any new Disney titles in Australia. So if you want your Marvels and your Star Wars, that all has to be imported.
yeah. I think for getting that type of stuff, I guess JB Hi-Fi's got to like pay
Yeah,
the extra money for that because that's
yeah.
their biggest push right now.
There's JB Hi-Fi and there's a Easy DVD. It's
Oh
called
yeah.
so it's ezydvd.com. Is another Australian one that's still going now. They wouldn't be as well known as JB Hi-Fi, but they are very good if you're local and you need it over there. So
I found JB Hi-Fi through they were putting out a Hammer set at the time when Hammer
yeah,
was only on DVD. They put out like Blu-ray editions of this
yeah.
Hammer set, and I just missed out on it. It sold out like crazy, and it was cheap too. So let's get to your next release. Let's see what the next one up is. We're getting up in size slowly.
Uh, so it's gonna be the Dune one. So I wanted to show you this. Now, obviously the Halloween set's going to be square or rectangular. So when
Yeah.
Imprint ship, it's a box within a box. So it's in this box, which will be in another box. So when you open your first box, you get this one. and then when you take the releases out, it's then got its own like steelbook protector case.
And that's tempered glass too, isn't it?
Yes.
I
So
love that you got that, like, the protective case outside of that,
yeah,
especially.
so
Uh,
it's a box of it. It's a box within a box. When I wasn't expecting that. Now when it came, it was just when it came, I thought, oh, this is an added bonus. So when I opened the first box, it was like, why are they doing a box within a box? But it's just to give your release. It's just an extra protection. So it's just like a big steelbook protectors thing, and all the titles. So Never Ending Story, which is bigger again, has its own plastic case as well. Now I don't know how well this is going to look. So down, I don't know if you can see down here has sand.
oh
So
yeah.
when you turn this up, I don't know how well this is going to pick up. The sand will trickle down eventually. You might see it more when it hits the black.
Yeah, you
You'll
certainly
see.
see a bit there. It's like it's kind of like the snow globe like effect, right?
Yeah, it's like a snow globe effect. So normally when I do when I'm showing it, I find it better going the other way. So I let the sand go to the bottom, and if you flip it over, I find you see it easier coming down the way.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, you do. The camera has picked it up actually.
Yeah,
Yeah. My
I
better half
wasn't.
favorite movies of all time, by the way, is Dune. So that's one
Yeah,
that
I
I want.
wasn't too sure if it was going to pick it up in the camera because over over here I don't have a proper setup, so I've only got the iPad. So when you take that out, it's just a big hollow box, just like you would have with any of the other smaller releases, and then everything else then gets housed in its own wee case. So this is the bit I've been dreading. So this is the poster. Um, so I don't know how I'm going to do this. You'll see me definitely disappearing because I'm I'm not going to fit. So
Wow. That really
so
is like movie poster like size, like you'd see in a theater.
yeah, it's almost like the posters you would have to say coming soon or now showing or screen 3 in here. Uh,
Yeah.
they're they're absolutely massive. Now all the releases have the same thing, so when I'm doing the other ones, you'll see me disappearing again. So this is the thing that they put on the back of all of them. I've just put it inside the box so that I have it. So this tells you basically everything that you get. This one, compared to the Arrow, has another version of the film. So it's got an extended TV version on Blu-ray, and then the fourth disc is just multiple documentaries.
That's my thing. I love the documentaries.
Yeah. So that disc in itself took me about 3 or 4 hours getting through because they're not short documentaries either. Though a lot of it just seems to be about how much David Lynch hated making the film, had struggles making the film, was angry that he had co-wrote a bit of the sequel but never got to make the sequel, and so
It's a shame because I do like the new Dune films, but I do think that
yeah,
that Dune has the best cast
yeah,
for all the Dune films. I think Kyle MacLachlan was like made to play that role.
yeah. And then I'm not too sure who done the comic, but they give you the full comic of the film. I think it might have been Marvel done this back in the day, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's just like a normal comic book of the theatrical version of the film.
I'll say I would
Um,
want. I think it's Marvel that put that out. I'm sure I had at least one issue of that when I was young.
yeah, I'm near enough certain it's Marvel myself, but I wasn't 100% myself on it. And then you get another book, which is just behind the scenes, um, credits and posters and portraits, and you'd spend all day going through this. If we ever do the Asian one with Malcolm, Plain Archive put out, it's a John le Carre novel called The Little Drummer Girl. Um, it was a it was a BBC, so public broadcasting in the UK, done a mini series of it, but it was directed by a Korean director. And Plain Archive have put out the most insane box set for a non Korean film I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, cool!
Um,
I'm a massive Le Carre fan, by the way.
Yeah, they also done Taylor Tinker Soldier Spy as well, but
Good old George
so that
Smiley.
yeah, so that's just another book that they give. So it's more essays in this one, but and then finally you would get the one then that has the discs. Now, again, I took the discs out of this because I want to try and keep the release as safe as I can. So these have just went into a spare case, and then I'm keeping this as locked up and as I can because I always feel the more I open these things, the more damage I could potentially do. So,
So
um,
will you transport those big sets back to Japan, or will you keep them there and just take the discs? Or
no, I'll have to. They would need to be shipped over. So,
it's going to be
I,
quite the shit.
yeah. Well, it depends how much we end up shipping over. It depends how long we stay. So, um, but I'm planning to be here probably for a while because I say my parents are getting older. So, my other siblings are also way up. So I'm the youngest out of four, but my eldest sister is now in her late 60s, and then my other sister has a very autistic son, so they can't cope with my parents as well. So I was like, well, I can come back because I'm working from home. My wife works from home. My kids are all homeschooled because we moved around too much to put them into normal school. So it doesn't matter where I am.
It's fantastic. But one, good son, by the way.
Yeah,
Uh, two, it's like you get to spend that time that a lot of people don't realize that they have. I
yeah,
was raised with my grandparents,
yeah,
and my grandfather passed like earlier on,
yeah.
and my grandmother had like Alzheimer's, like dementia. So, but I thought she was going to be around for longer than she was. And my last trip home, had like issues getting down to see her. So I said, well, I'll come down next time. And unfortunately, there wasn't a next time. But she would see me doing this. So
Hmm.
she would go on to
Yeah,
YouTube on her TV, and they'd show her me, and she'd wave at the camera. It's kind of cool. So it's really important to get that time.
yeah.
Um,
So just before I finish with Down then, so they give you some just character cards from the characters in the film.
Good old
It's
Sting.
there's Sting himself. Um, so but yeah, to me, it was always going to be a double dip for me because I do have the Arrow 4K, but for a film like that, I was always going to get it twice. I have multiple copies of so many films that it doesn't really shock anybody now when I say I have another Halloween set on the way or I have another this on the way or another that on the way. So
If Imprint
um,
ever puts out a big Black Christmas set, I'm going to be super excited.
yeah,
That's my favorite movie.
I actually it's the stuff like the GI Jane sets because I really like Wrigley Scott and every since Disney bought Fox and there's so little now coming from Fox back catalog. I'm
Yeah.
always sitting thinking, going, this is a film that I would love to have, and because the UK Blu-ray when it was originally put out had no extras on it, so this one's going to have the old Criterion '97 commentary, which has never been on a UK release or a Region B release before. So to me, it's I'm so happy that Largo Entertainment has worldwide rights because I think that's the only way you're going to see a lot of Disney films. Because this month they're doing the two Trons over here. They're doing Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
They're doing The Sound of Music. There's no like rhyme or reason of what titles they see. They just seem to do random announcements, and then they're doing Edward Scissorhands as well, which is meant to be released coming up for Halloween, but it hasn't got a date yet. But they seem to be so sporadic in their releases and what they're releasing and how they're releasing it. I've just got any time to say because I would love to have Big Trouble in Little China in 4K, and
Yeah. A
I'm
massive.
yeah, it's the one. Well, I say it's the one Carpenter film I would love to have. I would love to have Assault from Precinct 13. Shout did announce it a couple of years ago and then never followed through with it, though there is placeholders for it. Same with Miami Vice from Michael Mann that was announced, and they've actually got as far as doing cover artwork and a cover box, but it never got released.
Yeah, I've got the old, the Blu-ray when
Yeah,
it is.
I have the 88 Blu-ray of Miami Vice, but it doesn't have. I think there was a version in the US, Canada that had Michael Mann commentary on it. The 88 one has a critics commentary,
I've
which
got
we did.
I'm not sure if they got what that was a steelbook.
Yeah, I can't remember. And then and the Insider was the other one that I would love to have from Michael Mann, but that's Disney, so God knows if we're going to get that. And then Manhunter seems to have been announced by about 9 or 10 different companies, and then never. So Studio Canal were meant to be doing it, Shout were meant to be doing it, and then it's never happened. So, but
that
you can live in hope.
that's the thing. But I think it's right now we're at a point where there's so many stuff coming out that there's the options there.
Yeah.
At least
I just tend to find that anything I buy isn't new. It's always like I'm rebuying films that I either haven't seen or want to see, or films from years ago. So I would love Commando. It's the one Schwarzenegger film that I would love to go out in 4K, but I think that's Disney. I think that was Fox. So that's another one that's gonna sit on a Blu-ray. But I would love to have Commando in 4K. It's the only other Schwarzenegger film that.
his biggest death count is in like Commando. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, but I just think that would be amazing if you were to do the proper sound mix and picture quality on a 4K. I think it would look amazing, but it sounds like it's going to be, unless there's an anniversary coming up, I don't think Disney's going to do it because that's how they seem to release things. But they've even slowed down with the Marvel shows in 4K. So they were doing like the Mandalorian, and they were releasing so many of them per year. That's all seemed to have disappeared. So obviously they weren't making their money in those sets. They were very dear, but for people that don't have Disney Plus, it was the only way you would get to see them. So
For me, like I get excited every time a streaming like show gets announced, gets a physical release. They recently announced the morning show from 5th season that put that out. C got recently put out on physical media, the complete series. So hopefully I'd like to see them do more. I know that Sony has the rights to do certain Disney ones, but Disney tells Sony which ones they're going to do.
Yeah, Netflix and Criterion had an agreement for a while, but that seems to have disappeared. But Coda has got a US release announced, which was an Apple film, but I don't know who's putting it out. It won awards a couple of years ago. It's getting a 4K in America, but I'm not too sure. I don't know if it's Apple putting it out on themselves or whether they've partnered it up with somebody. But if Coda goes out, hopefully they'll do Napoleon, because I would love the Ridley Scott Napoleon film or the Scorsese Killers of the Flower Moon to come out on 4K. Though I have the Italian version, I think it is, of Killers of the Flower Moon. There's some Italian company just randomly put it out, and I don't know how they've done it.
Rights issues in different areas. So, there's some good Italian companies. Midnight Factory is a good company in Italy that does a lot of Scream Factory stuff, and Rustblade does some great stuff too, but they're expensive. Okay, let's get to your next release.
So next one's going to be The Keep. Then, if we're going on sizes, the never ending.
But I loved it afterwards.
I ended up the only reason I ended up going with the Never Ending Story is it's the only one that has the German cut on 4K. So for some reason, whenever they were getting the rights, the standard releases don't have the German cut on 4K. So I don't know why. But it was about a year, I think, after the big boxers released before they done the standard editions. So this one's heavier. So this is The Keep.
They're gorgeous sets, by the way. They're like the way that go. That's the cross makes it heavy, I think.
Yeah. So if anybody ever decides to break into the house at night, this thing weighs an absolute.
That's a bit of a beast. I like what's that? That's metal, right? It's metal.
It's it's proper metal, and it's weighty. So if you needed a doorstop or you could easily use this. Or when I showed it to my mum, obviously we come from a Catholic family because it's Ireland. She thought, "What in the name of God are you bringing into the house?" Um, but yeah, it's a ton weight. It's a chunky thing, and the box feels so much lighter when it's not in. So when you take it out, you get a picture of him
Yeah,
in
I
the
like that. What's a Moloch or something like that? His
yeah
character's name is.
yeah. So you get a picture of him, and then it basically opens up the same way as the Dune set, though it's a bit chunkier in terms of the box. And then again, you just get an abundance of stuff. So again, it's going to be one of these humongous posters that I'm going to disappear again. I think this one might actually be slightly bigger.
Yeah, I think it is actually a little bit. If
Yeah,
not, the same size, it looks a little bit bigger.
yeah, it's. I think, yeah. Looking at the two of them here, because I have them side by side, um, they're definitely bigger. And then again, you get a comic. So this one, I think, I don't know who put this one. It's IWD. I'm not too sure if that's the publisher. IWDpublishing.com. I'm not too sure who they are, but again, it's a proper comic book of the film.
I
Lovely
love the
book.
fact that's artwork from. I think the artwork is by the guy that did V for Vendetta.
Right.
For Michael Moore. So
I just remember when it was put out. Now I don't know whether it was just Australia, but this is meant to be out of print in terms of you can't actually get the comic anymore. Now I don't know if that's just Australia or if it's worldwide, but they were touting this as being the first time it's been physically available
I
in
think that's worldwide actually.
in a long time. But I'm not as up in my comics, so I wouldn't be 100% certain. And then you get this, which is meant to be Michael Mann's original script for the keep before people decided to come in and change stuff on him, because he doesn't really talk about this film. He's kind of shunned it from existence and kind of avoids every question about it. But it's pretty much just a full script
That
printed
is.
out as you would get a script. So again, to me, it's just something nice to have that you wouldn't normally get.
I love scripts. Like back in the early days of the internet, not sure if you know the site net. There was a site called Drew's Scriptorama. You could go there and see like undone scripts or like unaltered scripts of different films. I went there to get the different versions of like I think Curse of Michael Myers back in the day.
Yeah. And then you get another one of these. Now you'll not be able to see this. They picked an awful color of purple, but this tells you all the special features, and it doesn't come across in any camera. I was doing tests on the phone to see if I could get one that actually you could read it, but purple doesn't go well. So
The Imprint website.
yeah, pretty much, yeah. And then you get one of these things. Now I think there's one in the Never Ending Story as well. So this is meant to be a replica of the press kit that you would have had back in the day.
That is.
So I don't know how accurate it is. I did see one video where somebody claimed to have one of the originals, and it looked pretty much identical. But I've never actually seen one of these before, so I don't know what press kits are like. But again, it's just this one's just a booklet with more production notes and telling you more about the film, and again, it's just something nice to have. A lot of reading.
Yeah, with a bigger star.
Yeah, a lot of reading involved. I always find with these chunkier sets that if they by the time you finish with them, you'll know everything you'll ever need to know about the film, and then some, and stuff that just you think, why do I need to know these things? So these are copies of just stills from the film. So, and they're done on proper, what you would call proper photographic paper, so that there's been no shortcuts made in terms of the quality of the stills.
You can tell, like, gorgeous
Yeah,
shot.
yeah. They feel like they were properly taken by like a photographer on the sets. So, uh, and the other thing I liked with this, I'm a big fan of commentaries, and I do have the Vinegar Syndrome release of this, but this one went above and beyond with commentary. So I think there's like three. I think Vinegar Syndrome's one only had, I think it was only one, maybe one, maybe two. This one went overboard on terms of the commentaries, and then one of the features on it was it's called a World War II fairy tale, The Making of Michael Mann's The Keep, which is exclusive at the minute to this set, and the fella that directed it also done a commentary for the set. I don't think at the minute it's been released anywhere other than with that particular set, which
That's Vinegar Syndrome gonna got like some pushback because they tried other companies not to carry that set.
yeah,
And it came out, and like they were there's one, I know at least one, maybe two, that said, "Well, we're not going to carry Vinegar Syndrome anymore because they're
yeah.
trying to get us not to carry things like the Keep." And
I think that was Orbit.
yeah, I think you're right, actually.
I think if I remember, because your fella from Orbit does a weekly stream on YouTube where he tells you about stuff that's coming up, and he'll take questions from people. So people might go, "Are you going to get this a UK title in stock?" A lot of them were asking, "Are you going to get the Halloween box set and stuff in stock?" And he says, "Well, we're going to try." They're trying to do a deal with Umbrella where they're going to try and get some of the exclusive Umbrella releases.
Oh wow,
Where yeah, so at the minute the big collector's editions you can only buy from Umbrella directly. They're trying to do a deal with them. I think he said they've near done it with Freaked. So the Alex Winter film Freaked is getting a 4K deluxe in
one of my friends wrote
Australia, and Orbit are trying to get some of the collector's bundles that are normally only available on Umbrella site. So they said they're still working on it, but they hope to be able to do it. And then again, similar to the Dune set, there's another just production booklet, which
I'll go.
again is just more photos, more essays. Um, they call it a behind the scenes book, but it's proper
Perfect bound.
hardback. Yeah, hardback book. And I quite like the way these boxes are designed, and that everything sits nicely, and it's got its own like plastic section for the boxes, so you know that even if the box itself gets shaken about in travel, you know your discs are going to be nice and
So
secure. Yeah, and then again, like with the other ones, I took the discs out of this because I want to try and keep these boxes as nice as I can. I don't feel I'll ever sell these ones. I think if anything, I'll probably sell the Vinegar Syndrome one maybe down the line at some point, but this type of thing will be kept for.
yeah, that would be me too. Like the Vinegar Syndrome I'd sell that, but that's like, pardon the pun, that's one that I would keep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I tend to not sell a lot of stuff now. With me over here at the minute, a lot of my releases are still stuck in Japan and Korea, so a lot of my stuff I won't see for a couple of years because they're all in storage in our houses over there. So the only things I really have here in Ireland are stuff that I bought since we've been back in the last 2 years. So a lot of my my Scream Factory Halloweens are over there. So when these 1 to 5 comes from Imprint next month, I'll actually be able to watch Halloween again on 4K because they're in Korea. So
That's gonna be fun. So we should get you back when the Halloween set comes out.
yeah,
That'd be a cool one to look into, because I'm not going to get mine for a while. Obviously, mine's going to be in Paris. That's where mine's getting shipped to.
yeah. I tend to find like Via Vision. I've never had an issue with their shipping, and their customer services has been really good. Because when I was ordering stuff, I am the Jade set and the GI Jane are released on the same date, but I couldn't afford them on the same day, so I'd ordered them separate, but ended up having to pay 2 delivery charges. But they've refunded one of them for me,
Oh wow,
and merged the two into one. So
that's
it's the same as that girl from Vinegar Syndrome. The only girl is her name is, or Evie is the only person that ever seems to respond when you query something with Vinegar Syndrome. She would be the same if you were to ring her and go, I'm not a subscriber, but I want to add something on. So before they done the order stacking thing where you could add to an existing order, you used to be able to email and she would come back and say, well, we'll do this as a one-off. But I had so many one-offs over the years that
They've been pretty cool with stuff that I got to say, Vinegar Syndrome behind the scenes. People don't realize, but when early on, when they did the Red Mop, remember that one, and the
yeah,
Sweet Savage release, those sold to scalpers. They sold it to
yeah,
scalpers. Vinegar Syndrome realized that scalpers were buying it, multiple copies, and they canceled it to scalpers. So you can have one copy, that's it.
yeah,
And
they limit you now to one per order because I was gonna that I ordered a Man from the Gutter, from the latest batch of stuff. It's a Shaw Brothers, a very early Shaw Brothers exploitation film, and I was going to order one for a friend, but they limit everything now to one per customer. So
it's good.
I think that's partly to do with scalpers because I would say that Halloween set, I wouldn't like to think what that's going to be going for in
Yeah.
in a month's time.
And as much as people complain, like people are gonna be complaining about the fact that they didn't get it or that
Yeah,
that they're gonna buy it down the road. So half the people that are complaining now, you're going to see them unboxing this then on
yeah.
YouTube in a bit.
I did meant to say to you just before we do the never ending story, this is just like a standard release that Imprint Fire Vision do. So it's just like a normal slipcover. All of them will be the same. So you just get a slip box and then you get your standard box. And now there'll be no booklet or anything with these. So this is just a disc. So this is another thing that's on my watch list, but this is one my wife wants to watch, so I have to wait till she's available for us to watch this one. So but that's just if you were to get just like a standard edition, not a collector's box like that one, you'll just get it in something like this. But
I want to
these were the only Ang Lee films I wanted because these are the ones he made while he was still in Taiwan. Because after this, he done like the Sense and Sensibilities and Brokeback Mountain and Life of Pi and
Ice Storm.
Ice Storm and but these ones have been barren on physical media for so long. So when these got announced, I was just like, it was like day one.
Well, the price on those too, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I tend to find their bundles are very good. So I tend to order the Imprint Asia bundles when they announce them, and all of them have been really really good value so far. But as I said, the exchange rate between Ireland and Australia is really good. So it as I said to you before, that Karate Kid set was one the kids wanted, but that worked out dearer for me than the Imprint Halloween set.
It's just crazy when you think about it, right? Because people are like, oh my God, I can't believe a set costs this much. And you realize
It
when you do
the
it's so
so
different.
the company I ordered that from would only ship it through US Postal, and it was $80 shipping. And then I was charged, I think it was about $60 VAT because of tariffs. So on top of the price, I had another $140.
That is, no, I mean, yeah. It's too bad that didn't get like a kind of a UK release on its own. Like it's to
No,
so that do that.
yeah, I'm struggling a lot with the Lionsgate releases because all those like Lionsgate limited editions all seem to be Amazon exclusives in the US, and they won't ship to me now because of Brexit, which is really stupid because they say they will ship to the UK. I live in the north of Ireland, which is still part of the UK, and they will not ship to me, even though my address says United Kingdom in it, and they say they will ship to the United Kingdom. They will not ship.
It's strange. I mean, like you're lucky that the Curse of Frankenstein, because I know that was like when I was ordering that, and I was ordering it from because we got sent into her cousin in the
The
UK.
the Curse of Frankenstein, when you go on to Hammer's site, it tells you that they'll only ship to the UK and Ireland. It tells you that you need to order through Warner Archive if you're outside of the UK.
Yeah,
So
like
when you click into that release, same with Shout Factory because Shout don't ship worldwide. So I have to go through a Diabolic, or Shout only ships to Canada and US
and not even
directly.
everything. Like some of them are just US releases. When I got the Halloween, those last three
Yeah.
Halloween case. Her uncle was in Florida at the time visiting,
Yeah.
so he was there for a week, and he said, if you want anything, order something from Amazon, and I'll bring it back when I come. And it was by my birthday, and so I ordered a bunch of MVD Rewind collections sets, and I ordered that Halloween set. It's the only way I was able to get it.
Yeah, I've ended up. I have a friend in Scotland, and I had to ship all the Amazon exclusives to him because they'll still ship to Scotland. They just won't ship to here. So I have to ship to him, and then he sends them over to me. Otherwise, I would be paying a fortune over the top of the title.
Especially for the stuff that you want. Well, let's get you to the last set there, because we're from. I know this is my StreamYard is going to start laggy if I don't. Especially since last night. I've been weirded out since we started like.
So this is the last. This is probably the biggest one in terms of size of the box.
That is stunning, man.
I remember when it come in, the mail person came to the door and was just like, what are you, like, they're used to bringing a lot of stuff to me, but they just looked at me like I had about 9 heads on me, because the box that it came in was, the outer box itself was massive as well, and they were just kind of looking at me going, what have you ordered this time? Because I broke my back trying to bring this thing up. So
I better have to order that one. And she's like, no, the Swamp Despair scene. I'm not ordering.
Yeah. So this one's designed like a book, like literally like a book spine, and then unlike the other two where it slides out, this one opens up like a book, and it's even got like a wee tassel at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it there. It's like a wee book, like the end of it, like a bookmark. But this thing has just, this one breaks out into like a couple of different things. So this is like the first booklet it gives you, and sorry, it's going to be another one of these lovely, stupid, overly sized.
Did you put up any of your posters, by the way? Do you ever frame any of your stuff and put it up?
Yes, this is just like another humongous poster of the film, which again isn't going to fit in the screen. It's definitely not designed for iPad screens anyway. And then they went with ridiculously oversized.
It's got such a Polaroid look to it,
production stills. So but
that's stop me from getting it.
The quality on the photos are just amazing. You don't when you're looking at it on their site, and it shows you like what they're going to be. I wasn't expecting it to be this type of quality. So anything's about like, they're literally, you could almost frame them, let alone the posters. They're that good.
You definitely could, actually. You could have like a whole frame the whole thing and put like a whole wall of never ending story there.
Yeah.
You got sound, by the way.
Yeah, I always emphasize with people, because I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were going, are you going to put these up on a wall when you get home? And I was kind of saying, like, have you ever seen a Japanese apartment or a house? I was like, I'm lucky I have a wall that I can put stuff on. They just don't, like, the Americans especially don't grasp the size of some of those apartments in Japan. Like, they are so small. It's just literally like an L shape with a wee loft, and that. So no, these things will never be able to be put up on a wall there, just because I don't have the room. I could probably do it in my house, but I would get shouted at. So.
See, that reminds me of some places I stayed in Spain where we're kind of like that.
So this thing here is the only way you can get the German cut on 4K. So about a year after that set sold out, Imprint put out a smaller version, but they only done the German cut on Blu-ray, so they literally must have only had the rights to the German cut on 4K for one release, which to me seems a bit weird, but that's the cut I wanted, because that's the one that it's meant to be the director's original vision. So this thing, I'm still not 100% sure what all of these are. because I haven't got through reading them all yet. But these are like individual. They're not very big. They're only like flimsy pages. So this one's a biography of one of the actors, but it's been done like a script.
Yeah, like typeset.
Yeah, type. So that's one, and this is the opening, the opening, the opening announcement story. So this must be like page 1 and 2 of the script, but they've done it as like an individual. Then there's a biography of each of the actors, and again, it's all been done, and there's loads of them,
So it's
for
probably
each of the
something like something to put out
yeah
for the press
yeah
release.
yeah. So for each of the individual actors, I don't know why they've done it like that, but it's just a unique piece that you don't normally see. And as I say, there's loads and loads and loads of them, and then there's production. There's a big chunky one at the end for production information, which again just goes on and on and on with pages. Now that they're only stapled together, so they're not very. It literally feels like somebody's came along to a printer and went, right, we'll print 20 pages, staple. I felt like it was more something that would have been given them work. You know, this is your work project for today. And then they've gave you more stills again. Now these ones are smaller and black and white, but it's
It's on the
just
second black and white. So that's the wonderful part for me.
yeah, they're all black and white stills again from the film. All of them are the same quality that the bigger colored ones were that showed earlier. Um, but their releases, even their normal standard releases, that all the transfers and all have been really good. But I've noticed both Umbrella and Imprint are doing Fidelity and Motion now for all of their big releases. So the Umbrella have recently announced the Infernal Affairs trilogy, which The Departed was based on, the Scorsese film, and they've got Fidelity Motion to do them, and they've also announced Memento, the early Chris Nolan film, will be getting 4K from Umbrella early next year, and Fidelity Motion is going to be doing the transfer for that. So
The big company for that right now. They've like won awards and everything for their encodings and their transfers.
yeah, when I was talking to you last night, I said to Malcolm about the smaller Asian comedian films and New Wave that are like two boutique in Australia that basically do Asian cinema. They also work for Fidelity and Motion directly. So their side project is basically comedian films
Oh
at
wow!
New Wave, and they also do the encoding for all of the iVision Imprint releases. So it's
Stuff. I mean, like that's at the time you think, oh god, there's nothing. It's nothing new. There's nothing, or maybe physical media is going down. There's so much more out than you actually realize.
and then that was just the box that it came in. Now the the
I love
standard
them.
steel the standard steel book that they're doing, or the standard release of this, will have the same cover that you can order at the minute. But I think that's also near out of stock. I don't think anywhere else has done the never ending story. I think this is why this one's been so popular. It's the only one outside of Halloween in terms of their like big like collector chunky box, whatever you want to call them. It's the only other one that's actually sold out, because I don't think anywhere else has done.
No, they haven't. That's like that was a dream for a lot of people to
Yeah,
get that. That's my childhood. That's what people's childhood
yeah.
is.
I always thought that Vinegar Syndrome might have put it out as a VSU, because they were going down when they were going down like the route of like Cloak and Dagger and those type of things. Like that film's primed to go out in the same line as like your Cloak and Daggers, and but just it never happened. But no, I'm just because it was always a bane for me that you used to look, no matter where I was, whether it was Japan, Korea, Ireland, you always used to look at the American ones and go, look at that massive chunky box. I'm never going to be able to get that. The cost is just ridiculous. And now I have a chance via the Australian, because the UK get an odd one, but they don't really go for the big chunky things unless it's something really, really special. So the fact that I can actually get these and they're affordable, and I'm not breaking the bank, because when Scream Factory done the Friday the 13th box set, that
was one of my big ones. I got
that
that.
I paid probably double the price of that because of the shipping taxes.
Such
But
a nice.
but it was the only way I could get it, because up until then, none of the Friday the 13th had a release in the UK. We've only got 1 to 8 on Blu-ray last year for the first time. There's never been a Jason Goes to Hell release. There's never been a Jason X release, but we've had Freddy versus Jason.
That's my least favorite, by the way.
Yeah, but so we only ever had DVDs of Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X. We still haven't actually had an official UK Ireland Blu-ray of that.
Until I guess Arrow, like they're more like
Until
recent.
yeah, I was actually surprised they didn't do a Blu-ray with it, because not normally Arrow, if there hasn't been a Blu-ray already announced in the territory they're releasing in, they would do a 4K and then they would do a Blu-ray. They're not doing this. That was my one thing with the Asian titles. So Shout Factory, when you buy like your Hard Boiled or your City and Fire, you get Blu-ray and 4K. Arrow are doing them separate, so it's actually it's cheaper actually for me to import the Shout than if I was to buy both the separate Blu-ray and
4K release.
yeah.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, because it's so odd. Because now, when I buy like something like when I bought the Clint Eastwood 4Ks,
Yeah.
like in North America, it comes to the digital code. But
Mm-hmm.
with where I got them, I got them in Spain. They all come with Blu-rays, which I prefer actually than to a digital code. So, although I'm probably only ever going to watch the 4K, to be honest, at least Blu-ray is there. It's an option.
Yeah, I tend to find what the UK will do is for the Eastwood films, for me, if you only wanted the Blu-ray or the 4K, you bought them separate, but it wasn't a steelbook. So if you want both 4K and Blu-ray in the one release, you have to do the steelbook, but you can just order a 4K or a Blu-ray on its own, but it's just in a normal Blu-ray case. It's not steelbook. Where in the US they just seem to do steelbook only with a 4K disc. Same with the Nightmare on Elm Street, but the Nightmare on Elm Street, the people were going nuts over because Savvy were doing over here the Blu-rays as well, but it's literally just the Blu-rays from the old Blu-ray release that's been out for. So there's no, like, I thought, oh, they might do a restoration, 2025. Nope, they're literally just putting out the same Blu-rays that were put out 10 years ago. The only difference is they've actually wrote on the disc what films are on them. So the original,
which could end up being good because some of the features for the new 4K release aren't ported over for that Blu-ray. So don't think that the Freddy's Nightmares episodes, they had 2 of those and a couple of the other features made over to the 4K release. So if you got the Blu-rays with as well, you'll still have those old features. So
I still have the Freddy's Nightmares VHS tapes that were released in the UK back in the day.
Oh wow, that is cool. I saw 2. I saw like a couple on Betamax back in the day, but I didn't own them. I saw them in stores.
Yeah. And I still have a lot of the Friday the 13th series on VHS as well, except it was called Friday's Curse over here. It wasn't called Friday the 13th. So.
That's right, though. Yeah, like that, because initially it wasn't supposed to be Friday.
No.
They put it in. It was a last minute thing.
Yeah.
Initially wanted to do like an episode with the hockey mask, but they never did it to tie it in. Really tie it in. Would have been interesting to see them with the haunted hockey.
The lead actor was in Jason Goes to Hell, but playing a different character.
Oh, John Delamere, yeah.
Yeah.
I had a crush on Roby, the redhead, who actually was a singer too. She's Canadian. She'd put out One Night in Bangkok, the Murray song from Chess. And I don't know if I liked her version better because it was her singing it or just because I liked it, but I dug her version of it.
Yeah, I always preferred the Friday the 13th. I liked that they went different. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't Jason. Where I kind of thought the Freddy's Nightmares was kind of a waste of Robert Englund, because he kind of was like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. He kind of popped up at the start, then he disappeared. And then
Often
kind of
the lines were insane. Like I remember one episode, and there'd be 2 episodes per nightmare set. I think
Yeah,
most of, unless one went an hour long, and they would be kind of like tentatively connected, which was kind of cool. But they'd have, I think they must have shot a bunch of these together type thing and just put them on the beginning and end,
yeah,
because sometimes what he would say would have very little to do with what you're watching on screen. And you knew that he'd come in with the Freddie makeup on and probably like shot like 8 or 9 at the same time, like Vincent Price did with Hilarious House of
yeah.
Frankenstein. He came in, did a whole bunch of them within a day or two, and they just put them all through the series.
It's kind of the same as that I've always, when people bring up Friday's Nightmares, I was always like, I would wish to put out Nightmare Cafe instead, which was the other TV show that didn't last very long. That they, because I
Really,
think I've only ever seen that once because it's just so obscure. I don't think there's any channel that would put that on now. We used to have a UK version of Bravo when I was younger, and it was on Bravo.
I think I watched it. Well, I watched it originally when it came on, but it was on something like Bravo Showcase for us to in Canada.
Yeah, yeah,
One of those. We had like this series, like kind of an umbrella series called TV Too Good for TV, and it showed Nightmare Cafe. It showed God, what's the one? But the guy's kind of a sociopath, and he's like in TV. The guy from Heroes was a great show. But with that being said, I want to thank you so much for joining me here for the first time.
yeah,
Hopefully, first time of many times.
yeah.
I want to get you in here with the Asian releases, and we'll do a conversation with me and you and Malcolm, where you guys will definitely take the center stage for that. So, but hang on, don't go anywhere yet. We'll put your Instagram whatever handle down below if you want to like check out your stuff. And I want to
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming in. And make sure you got your name, Kevin, right? Did I get it
Yeah,
right?
you got it right. But I answer to everything because I say so many people see when you do customer services work and you're answering the phone and you go, oh, you're speaking to I get everything under the sun, so I find it easier just using Kevin for the majority of things because it just makes life easier for me. It makes life easier for other people because other people kind of go, oh, did I get it right? Or they look at you to sort of they're looking for the reassuring nod to kind of go.
Yeah.
so,
And
so,
then I
so
wait Felix customer service.
yeah, yeah. So I just tend to find it's easier. I walked into my first job in the bank and they said, what was your name, Kevin? And they were like, they're never going to get this. Do you have an English name? That was literally day one in the bank.
Oh,
And that was in Seattle. I wasn't even in Korea at the time. The Americans were having problems with Kevin.
that does not surprise me. Like I worked for like a health company in the United States, and my name's Aaron, which I thought was
Yeah,
fairly simple. But I've heard
yeah,
Aaron,
yeah.
a whole bunch of things aside from my name. Now, do you have anything going on that you want to like shout out or mention
No,
aside
no,
from?
because of where I am at the minute, I've nothing because I don't have proper setups to do anything at the minute. My kids do have a Korean one, but it's not operational at the minute because we're over here. So, but they used to do like reactions to Korean animation, kid shows and stuff. But we don't
Oh,
have the proper setup. That's why I'm on an iPad at the minute because literally it's the only thing I
well,
have
Kima
here.
did that. Like once that it goes, I'll definitely shout that out when that happens
Yeah,
again. I started on an iPhone 4 with my
yeah,
channel, and I upgraded to an iPad, and I eventually went to like a PC and a Mac. I got a Mac right now,
yeah.
but there's a lot you can do a lot with an iPad you wouldn't realize, especially
Yeah.
iMovie. iMovie's like so good. So good
I,
for this
I
stuff.
just I just miss my laptop. I don't. The only laptop I have is my work laptop, and I just miss having a normal laptop that I can just type. Because you're always holding the iPad, so it's kind of I just miss the whole sort
You
of.
get one of those keyboards, those like
Yeah,
keyboard like thing.
you can get the gel ones and stuff, but it's not the same. It's the like clicking of the just brings back so many memories from like the Windows 95s and the Windows for Workgroups before there was a start button, and
Oh my
you could
god!
just or get my Commodore 64 and get my Trivial Pursuit game because it was the only game that worked on it. No, I just miss the static of the laptop keyboard or a proper keyboard connected into a laptop, which I can do in work, but doesn't feel the same as. like clicking on an iPad screen or clicking on your phone screen. I just
I,
miss that the aesthetic of it.
the way that kind of nice, it's almost ASMR type with this wonderful clicking noise that you get. Like it's a peaceful thing.
Yes, it's a nice calming effect, especially if you're having like a really nasty day and you just want to frustrate, so you can just type out an email and you're going.
That's why I hate the modern day phone, because I
Yeah,
can no longer slam my phone down like I used to be able to, like back in the regular phone days. Now it's, oh, I'm so mad.
yeah.
Touch.
We used to have the BlackBerry phones for the office, and that had like a proper keyboard, and that made like a wee noise every time you done it, and you felt like you were on a keypad on your BlackBerry in the
Yeah, that's
office.
Canada actually. Canada did the BlackBerry. That we created that one.
Yeah,
Sadly, it didn't make it, but it's still around again.
yeah,
But again, I want to thank you so much for coming in. Stick around.
sure.
I want to thank everybody that's been watching this today. We'll be back for another video. I'll make sure that you guys know ahead of time for that as well. Happy spooky season, everybody out there. And if you haven't picked up any of these Imprint releases, I've got no like association with Imprint aside from the fact that I like them. But yeah, these are definitely cool ones to pick up. And if you've never, pick up the one that you like. Like, don't pick up something that you don't like. But if you've seen The Keep, or you've seen like Neverending Story or one of those releases, it's just so cool to have like at least one of those in your collection, right? For me, the first is the Halloween one, but I got a feeling the bugs hit me. So I've got a feeling I'm gonna get a whole display case
Yeah.
and get some of them Imprint stuff.
Kind of like everything. You take the plunge with the first one. So when I ordered the Never Ending Story, I was freaking out it was going to come damaged and how it was going to be packaged. And then once it arrived and you realize, yes, it's well packaged and it's not damaged, it made me go, right, I can go and get these other ones, and I'm not fearing it's going to be the worst when it gets to me, because it is literally coming from the other side of the world. So,
Yeah,
for me anyway, it's literally the other side of the world. So, for me, the Never Ending Story was the test to see, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? Because I didn't get that Saw release, because if it had all been 4Ks, I probably would have done it. But because I already had the 4K of the first one, and the later ones I never bothered getting, the one with the bear trap. But the people that I do know that got safe ones. But I've heard a lot of horror stories about the bear trap scream set, so our Imprint set. So
that was different, a hard one to do. Like they're saying, well, that was this like pumpkin one. It's a pumpkin. I don't think there's too much issues with the way that's going to be done and packaged. I think that's going to be a pretty safe safe bet.
I'd say it'd
And
be safer than these ones, but I say because it's a box within a box, you've got like an extra. Instead of putting padding in it, you basically got another box. So
it's going to be interesting because it's going to be their first big like kind of like actual square box one.
yeah,
And I'm excited about that. So hopefully the comment, like some people are like, are the steelbooks going to be scratched or stuff? I got my, I'm not sure, you probably have steel actually. The steelbook set from David Gordon Green's like trilogy. And I got this, and I've had this for 2 years when it came out initially, and mine are perfect. Nothing was scratched.
yeah. I got the Warner. I think it was Warner done it, the Sean Connery James Bond steelbook thing, and that came in an actual Warner's box within a box within a box. So there was like
Yeah,
3 boxes in that, and but that type of thing again, I take the discs out, and so I don't take the steel books in and out. So anything like that, I protect. So the only time that disc or that case will be out of that box is if I'm showing it on a channel like yours, or I get it for the first time and I take the discs out. The disc goes back in, and the box is put away safe. I don't take a chance for steel books. So
yeah. Like I got a friend of mine, Jake, steelbook obsessed, and his channel is like does a lot of steelbook stuff. He's on Instagram. If you haven't checked him out, like, he's amazing. I'm so jealous. And I've kind of got back into the steelbooks again. But a couple years ago, I was doing some work with Mill Creek, and they started to do steelbooks again. So
yeah,
they did like a red steelbook, and they did like Michael Mann's Miami Vice, and that does have the commentary, Michael Mann commentary on it, by the
yeah.
way. It was
Yeah,
kind of cool.
I was getting their Ultraman sets for the kids because they actually had English subs on it.
Oh yeah, like I'm an Ultraman guy. Like
Yeah,
I most all the Ultraman sets, so I got to get
yeah,
Ultra Q and New Ultra Q, the two left. I got to pick up.
yeah. Yeah, I'm in the process of trying to find an English language one of Shin Ultraman, but I haven't got it yet.
That's I Got to reach out to them eventually to see if that's going to be coming out. I think that's got a different distributor though.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so much for coming in. And
Sure.
guys, if you've not checked out like this, the Imprint stuff, if you make sure you check out our next video. When I have them back, we're going to be talking some Asian stuff, or it could be the Halloween set, depending on how things are situated. But either way, we'll see you again on the channel really soon. I want to thank you so much for coming in. I've
Sure.
had a blast. And guys, have a happy spooky season, and I will see you in the next video.
Yeah, see you later.